As the first light of dawn broke through the windows, I found myself in the courtyard, ready to embark on my journey. My horse, a magnificent black stallion named Shadow, was restless, sensing the tension in the air. I patted his neck, murmuring soothing words to calm him. "Prince Alistair," Sir Roderick said, handing me the reins. "We are ready to depart." I mounted Shadow and took a deep breath, steeling myself for the challenges ahead. The men Sir Roderick had chosen were assembled, their faces grim but determined. With a final nod to my parents, who stood watching from the palace steps, I spurred Shadow forward, leading my small band out of the city and towards the unknown. The journey to the village was uneventful at first, the miles passing quickly under the steady rhythm of our horses' hooves. As we traveled further from the capital, the landscape began to change. The lush fields gave way to dense forests, and the air grew cooler, carrying a hint of foreboding. We arrived at the village just as the sun was setting, casting long shadows over the thatched-roof cottages. The villagers watched us warily, their eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. I dismounted and approached the village elder, an old man with a weathered face and kind eyes. "Greetings, elder," I said, bowing respectfully. "I am Prince Alistair, sent by the king to investigate the troubles that have befallen your village." The elder nodded, his expression grave. "We are grateful for your help, your highness. Strange things have been happening here. We fear that dark forces are at work." "Tell me everything," I urged. "No detail is too small." As the elder began to recount the events that had plagued the village, I listened intently, piecing together the clues. Livestock disappearing without a trace, crops withering overnight, and eerie sounds in the dead of night. It was clear that something unnatural was at play. "We will start our investigation immediately," I assured the elder. "I promise we will do everything in our power to uncover the truth and restore peace to your village." "Thank you. And if you get a chance, check on our village's healer please, her name is Alara," the elder said. He handed me a map. "She probably knows more about this than anyone." With that, my men and I set to work, scouring the village for any signs of the disturbances. The more we uncovered, the more convinced I became that this was no ordinary problem. There was a darkness here, lurking just beneath the surface, and it was up to me to bring it to light. As night fell, I stood at the edge of the village, staring into the ominous forest that bordered it. Somewhere within those trees lay the answers we sought. Steeling myself for the challenges ahead, I knew that this was only the beginning. My journey to prove myself had truly begun. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the village as we prepared to venture into the forest. My men gathered their gear, their expressions a mixture of determination and trepidation. I could sense their unease. The forest had a reputation for being a place of mystery and danger. "Stay close," I instructed, mounting Shadow once more. "We don't know what we might encounter in there." Sir Roderick rode up beside me, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "We'll find the source of these disturbances, your highness. Whatever it takes." I nodded, grateful for his unwavering support. With a final glance at the villagers, who watched us with bated breath, we entered the forest. The trees loomed overhead, their branches intertwining to form a dense canopy that blocked out much of the moonlight. Shadows danced around us, and the air grew colder with each step we took. The forest was unnaturally silent, the usual sounds of nocturnal creatures conspicuously absent. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. We pressed on, our path illuminated only by the faint glow of the moon and the flickering torches carried by my men. After what felt like hours of riding, we came upon a clearing. In the center stood a massive, gnarled tree, its branches twisted and blackened as if scorched by fire. The ground around it was barren, devoid of any vegetation. I dismounted and approached the tree, feeling a strange pull towards it. "This tree," Sir Roderick said, his voice low, "it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It radiates a dark energy." I nodded, reaching out to touch the rough bark. As my fingers made contact, a surge of cold shot through me, and I recoiled in shock. "There's something here, something powerful and malevolent." We began to search the area around the tree, looking for any clues that might explain the strange occurrences in the village. One of my men, a keen-eyed scout named Gareth, called out, "Your Highness, over here." I hurried over to where Gareth stood, peering down at the ground. He had uncovered a series of strange symbols etched into the earth, forming a circle around the tree. The symbols glowed faintly with an otherworldly light, pulsing rhythmically. "These markings," I said, examining them closely, "they're not natural. This is some form of dark magic." Sir Roderick's expression darkened. "We need to be cautious. Whoever or whatever is responsible for this is powerful." As we continued to investigate, the air grew colder still, and a thick fog began to roll in, obscuring our vision. The torches flickered and dimmed, casting long, wavering shadows that seemed to dance and writhe around us. A sudden rustling noise caught my attention, and I spun around, drawing my sword. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice echoing through the clearing. Then the last thing I saw was Sir Roderick hitting me over the head with the grip of his sword, knocking me out.